Hello, everybody. You know what time it is. I know what time it is. That's right. It's time for Syntax Live. How are you guys doing today? I am, as always, in a freaking rush, and it looks like most everybody's here today. I see Doug, the new grandfather. Chris is here. Brian is here. Alan is here. Seems like just about everybody's here already. And let's get this party started by, as we know, start it up and popping a top.
Reactor online. Sensors online. Weapons online. All systems nominal.
And thankfully, all systems are a bit nominal. However, I was hoping I would get out today's chapter as far as what story was going to come out earlier today. I frankly ran out of time. It's done. I just have to put all the extras in, but I was so busy adjusting everything. And what do I see there? Oh, Brian's getting things started already. Let me get my notebook so I don't miss you out. It's Brian with a $20 super chat. And he says, great stories, Sind. Well, they're not mine this week. Don't forget. And we're going to be jumping into that in a second. As soon as I write this down. Again, don't want to miss you out on it. I will let you guys know again. Don't forget the stories. Most of them this past week have not been mine. The one that's coming up, well, we're going to talk about that here in a minute. I got the thumbnail already keyed up, and let's get into it. Let me wet my whistle here as I have a deja brew in front of me. And I need a little caffeine. It's just been one of those days. It's Wednesday's always my busy day. So starting off with a video that was actually sent to whoa.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
What that is a $10 super chat from MTF Guard. And he says, I sent you quite a handful of videos. Hope you had time to read what some of the message attached to them said because they're funny. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to sit and read because a lot of the videos that were sent over the past week, I just spent the past about 3 or 4 hours redoing the audio on each of them. And I got the audio to work. So there's no issues there. I know Demon sent me some, and I believe War Sniper sent something, and I think Guard, you sent me a few. Yeah, I think Guard, you sent me the ones with the hiya going on, and the one guy who kind of halfway blew himself up with an EMP. Why do I keep coughing so much? Maybe I'm dying. Who knows? Anyway, thank you very much, Guard and Brian. Very much appreciate your super chats. And we're going to get going here. First things first. This was the one that came up, and it was written by somebody who doesn't like his name out there, but apparently he gets high off Prozac and pancakes. And everybody, all of the comments were just labeled towards him, so I'm not going to go too crazy. All I can say is I can see what he was doing. He was trying to do a fresh spin on the isekai genre, and I don't think I've ever seen anyone do it this way. I will say this, though. There is a anime that just came out. I just saw a little, 2-minute blip of it, of the first episode, and apparently everything looks medieval, but somehow they got high-resolution cameras in the ceiling, and everyone's using magic. So it might be that your brain is linking up with everyone else. I know mine does that every once in a while, where I think up the same thing as certain people at the same time. It's weird. It's annoying. It has its moments, but still weird. Yeah, there are some good isekai because they're actually going back to the old mangas that I used to watch or I used to listen to. Anyway, if you guys haven't seen or listened to The Greatest Game, you'll actually see there are certain cuts in there. And you'll actually hear the tone of my voice because I'm trying not to snicker through part of it. I'm sorry, but when they were getting geared up, I had to stop recording because even though I'd read it twice already, even now I'm trying not to laugh. And I'm failing. Oh, everything was so inconceivable. Wow, I gotta turn the volume up on that. That's inconceivable. Yeah, definitely. So I'll give you one of these. What? What the fuck? What that is a $10 super chat from someone who is so outrageous. It is Erica Gem, and she says, SS Demon and other Prozac and Pancakes. Good job, syntax, good narration. Thank you. As I will say, again, it was hard at one point to actually get through it, and I had to kind of fake the voice of Melfina. And you guys don't hear, but a couple times I actually had to stop because I was hacking my brains out. I can do that voice. I just can't do it for all that long. And guys who are men and women who are actual voice actors who can alter their voice like that, hey, my hat's off to you. That is difficult to do. So, yeah, I sure hope you guys got as big kick out of that as I did. I enjoyed that. And yes, I was going to save this for later, but yes, I did get chapter 4 in. As I was going through my email, somehow I missed it in my emails. I got it. It's literally sitting on my printer right now, and I just haven't had a chance to go over it. So,
hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Yeah, something I look over and I think is right there. And we got a $20 super chat from. Hold on. Where's the button? Where's the button? From
the Guardian Sage.
I think I hit the wrong one on that. But he says, thank you for the original stories and narrating. If you guys enjoy funny songs, look up Band from Argo and 3 kobolds in a 3 kobolds in a trench coat. Sin, do you think you could do a pair? Sorry, the colors are blending in on me for some reason. Do you think you could do a pair of one-off stories inspired by these 3 songs? I could try. I got to write these down. First off, I got to write you down, Guardian, because I don't want to miss you when I do the shout outs. And let me write here in the notes. What is this? Band from Argo. What the hell does that mean? I don't know. I'll look it up. This doesn't seem like the certain stuff that I actually go. From Argo. And 3 kobolds in a trench coat. I'll have to give them a listen and see what's going on. Right now, I kind of wish this button was higher. I literally have it cranked up as high as it'll go. I'll have to fix that later. But I see someone who's...
Great Scott!
Is that a demon out there? An SS demon with a $20 super chat? You guys are fucking awesome. I swear. Hey, here's to all you guys, okay? I raise a glass to your health, all you out there, because you guys have been beyond generous this month, and I can't freaking thank you enough for that. So let me get that last part down. Okay. It says, I really appreciate what you did with PAI. I didn't expect it to come out so fast. I got some Sniper Elite clips I need to send you at the rate things are going next Wednesday. Okay. Might be my last full live stream, sadly. I'm still super chatting though. Yep, clearly. Now I will say this with the media, I'm going to look into my media assets, and I have 3, 6, 9, 12, 50, 16 clips I got sent this week. And you know what? Actually, I shouldn't know. It's not 50. 1, 2, 3. No, sorry. A dozen clips got sent this week because a few I redid the audio, like this one.
Brace for impact. Torpedo to port. Brace for impact.
I told you I'd fix the audio on that, and I had to go through each and every one of them for the past 2 weeks and do them, and it just takes a long time. I'm going to fix the rest of them before I do the full compilation, which will most likely come out the end of the month. All right. Speaking of PAI, that's the next one we're going to be talking about. Here we go. And for those that don't know, if you're looking at the visuals in the background, if you haven't played Supreme Commander, that's QAI, the Quantum AI, which I find is very silly nowadays because we actually have multiple quantum AIs out there now. So anyways, that one was made by SS Demon. And where's a good one?
It's a trap.
No, it's not a trap. It's Doc. It's Steve Ewig. There he or Ewig. You know, I keep mispronouncing that. You know it. I hope you don't take it personally. And he sends a $20 super sticker over. And again, thank you very much. Hopefully, I can get some more Doc memes that aren't make you depressed. I've been looking for some more funny ones, like the one walking through. You can give something besides Motrin? I saw that one and just about fell out of my chair. And Steve, you know exactly what that one about that. Anyways, yep. Oh shit, my own handwriting's falling back on me. Okay. Anyways, thanks again, Steve, and everybody else, and PAI. Now, as far as Demon is concerned, Demon, I do hope you look closely at the end when I gave you the shout out specifically for creating this video, because that was, I had to alter that picture just for you. And I hope you got a big old kick out of it. Anyway, there wasn't much as far as the comment section for anything for adjustment, and anything that was for critiquing. I'm not going to write down here because that's between you guys and the actual writer itself. All I can say is, as far as, you know, the greatest show, dude, punctuation, please. And they're called quotation marks. Please use them more often. I don't have it in front of me. It's over there, but it's just literally a comma, quote, this, and it's all punctuation, man. That's what was killing me. As far as QAI, feel free to break that into different paragraphs as well when you start changing different locations. Okay, it's the little things, guys. As far as narration goes, it's the little things like that that make it a lot more difficult. So, anyways, aside from that, let's see, going down here. I've been noticed a few more of the older stories been giving me some love. So I'm assuming you guys have been spreading the channel around a bit. And thank you. I appreciate that so much. All right. Let's see. There's the note when it comes to the greatest show. And before I jump down, I'll just use another one. We didn't get to see the audio on this one, so at least last week. So here we go.
Torpedoes starboard. Torpedoes starboard. Brace for impact. Good job.
You know, I'm waiting when they do World of Warships. Okay, somebody better be freaking dying. I'm sorry, guys. This thing. Okay, I don't recognize the phone number. Fuck them in the ass. All right. Sorry about that. I heard the phone ringing through here. I was like, it might be an emergency, but it wasn't. Anyways, now as far as World of Warships, which I think is one of probably, you know, the stuff you guys send with World of Warships and World of Tanks and all this other fun stuff, I think that stuff is going to take over. In the Warships one, I'm waiting until you actually have it set up where you can say 15 degrees to port while you're actually manning the guns and everything like that. You can switch back, and then, or as you're piloting, you can say set guns to, you know, whatever direction it is, engage targets at will, or however it might be, or just set the target and then you could maneuver your ship. When they do that, that's really going to take off. That is going to take off something huge. And, you know, I'm running out of buttons here for you guys. You know, I just don't want to say
Game over, man. It's game over.
I'm more of the,
Great Scott!
as MTF Guard throws in another $10 super chat. And let me just write that down. And he says, sorry, I wanted to be even with everyone else with the super chats, even if I'm getting back $20 tomorrow when I turn in my old car battery. Hey, you get the money where you get the money, man. That's never a bad thing, ever. And thank you. I appreciate it. I always say this: as much as I appreciate you guys super chatting, do not put yourself in financial straits because of me. Okay? I may be a dick. I'm not an asshole. Okay? I'm not going to do that to you guys, and I'm not going to be that type of guy. Anyways, let's see, where was I? The next video that's coming out tonight. Well, hold on. Where is it? I've got to check the files. And yes, you are. This is the teaser you guys are going to be getting. This is going to be the thumbnail being used. And as you can see, it's based pretty much off the rest of them. And I do have to say, this is going to be a two-parter. Okay. I had to do it that way. I didn't have much of a choice due to time constraints. So you guys wanted the more spooky, scary, and kind of what the fuckery stories? Here you go. All right. So anyways, I'm going to give us one more quick video before we head down, because that was it for that area. And we're actually going to be talking video games. So here we go. Why is it, I'm going to keep saying this because I notice in a lot of your videos when you're doing the sword things, you always attack the guy in the back. And every time I see that, I keep thinking Game of Thrones, nice way to, or a good way to attack a man when its guard is down. Best way to attack a man. Little Braun action there. Okay. As far as the news coming in, I know this is almost old news. But the video game fails are just stacking up. They're stacking up incredibly fast. Apparently, the new Dragon Age is dead on arrival because the one they made before is just terrible. Just so woke that people actually didn't even finish the game. They brought the discs back and said, I want a full refund. Black Ops 7... Unfortunately, they screwed Black Ops so bad that I don't think it can make a resurgence. They can make an awesome game, and I really don't think they can come back from it. I think they've dug themselves so deep that they can't dig up, and which is a shame because those used to be good. Now, they're like a vacuum. They just suck. The Outer Worlds games, now I've never played these. Apparently, that one... They've been ratioed into the freaking dirt. Nobody's buying them. Pre-orders are drying up. Nobody wants it. And you guys are going to have to tell me if the Outer Worlds games was good or if it's just was so bad to start with that they're just not recovering. And here's one that surprised me. It honestly did. I thought Witcher could bounce back from the bullshit that it done. Or I should say the Bolshevik that it done. Drink. But apparently Witcher 4, again, the trailer got ratio. The pre-orders are just not there. And they're putting everything around the female Witcher. Now, honestly, I think they did an okay transferring over. And they have the original Witcher there. I don't think he was killed off. Not that I'm aware of. So they could just go back and forth during the game if they wanted. But... I don't know if they will. I really don't know if they will. It doesn't seem that way. And I really don't know what's rubbing people the wrong way. You're going to have to let me know. So, like I said, I just don't know it. Now, this next part, though, especially you video game guys who send me all sorts of videos, like this. Well, what do you know? He emptied his entire combat load in the guys in that boat's face. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Or should I say, or no, better yet,
Giggity, giggity, giggity goo. Stick around.
But as it turns out, the console wars are going to come to an end. This is what I was telling people a long time ago, even when consoles were going strong. I personally believed that PC gaming was going to be it. If I was going to put my money into anything back in the day, it was going to be PCs. Because, pure and simple, a console is just a stripped down PC with a much, much, much larger graphics card and usually more RAM. However, now it's you don't need that, because even my computer with the weak graphics card that's in it has just as good, if not better, graphics than most of the consoles that are out there. And the games that are coming out now are coming out, the graphics aren't photorealistic, but they're good enough that, or they're close enough that you don't need a super duper graphics card to actually get every little detail around. By the way, I still say, since that's Darth Talon on the screen right there, she is still the most exotic thing in Star Wars. All right. But yeah, the console wars are pretty much done. And if I could do it without losing the headset right now, I'd do a Razor Fist chair spin saying, fuck you, I was right, fuck you, I was right. But and honestly, the reason I like PC gaming more is because you have more options. You have an entire keyboard worth of commands to work with. You now have extra stuff. I'm looking right now at not only the camera here, I got the microphone here, I got 2 separate soundboards. If I set those up to be keys for what I'm working with, I could do all sorts of shit on a PC. And so much more than anybody could do on a controller. Because by then, for them, instead of hitting one button, they got to hit a sequence. And honestly, I don't know how you guys memorize those. I was so fucking lost trying to do that shit. That's why I don't play fighting games. I just never could get on that. Now, before we move into the next portion, which has to do with things like movies, how about we watch a little bit of, say, this.
All hands brace.
Who else was actually rooting for the little guy as he was wiggling by on that video? Like, oh, he might get away. He might get away. He might get away. He's dodging the shots. All right. I don't know if you guys seen this, but officially through Marvel Studios, they're going to be removing the original Silver Surfer to bring in their new diversity Silver Surfer. I can't even say that with a straight face. What the fuck? The female Silver Surfer was supposed to die with her version of Galactus in that dimension. She was never meant to be a permanent fixture, even in the original continuity. But, or I should say, but, you know, the people over at Marvel, they're just going to want to do things their way by shoving things up your, there you go. Man, it hurts me. You have a set character, you have a set area, work with what you have, or leave it for a decade and come back later. Don't try to just shoehorn everything up the orifice of everyone else. It doesn't work that way. And every time they do that, I'm just sitting there like, excuse me? Seriously, what the hell? And not only that, but those of you who are fans of James Bond, which I never really was, the Bond reboot. Okay, they killed the fucker off. How are they supposed to do a reboot of this as though it's a continuation? It's a soft reboot. It's a continuation. I'm like, what? Just, My brain hurts. It's crazy. Why would they even try to do this? It doesn't make sense. It only makes sense to somebody who has lost their fucking minds. What they need to do is put it back on the shelf for, like I said before, a decade and a half. Let everybody relax, see when it's good to come back. And the kicker is it probably won't come back, but we're going to talk about that in a minute. Hold on, I got dead cinema. Sorry, I had to write a quick note down on here. But why would you might not ever have a chance to bring it back anymore anyway. And speaking of things that are going away, and hold on, do I see any tears? Are there any tears? I'm not crying. Disney. The one thing that has been keeping Disney up and running has been their park attendance. However, their park attendance has been so shitty lately that they're actually falling apart. They're finally collapsing as a company. And all I can say is, yay, joy. Because everything they have done has screwed everybody over. They're the reason why a lot of characters have not gone into public domain in the past, 50, 60 years. Mickey Mouse was supposed to be in the public domain before I even existed in this life. And sure enough, you still can't use it. Officially, it's in the public domain, but trust me, they have got that shit locked down hard. It is absolutely sick. And because of their insistence on that, that's one of the many things we all know with the kid things. We know about the subliminal messages. They tried to put subliminal messages in the last one, and everyone said nope. So they said, well, fuck subliminal messages. We'll just shove it right in the storyline. And everyone said nope. And now everyone's looking at Disney and going, no, just absolutely not. And it's like I said, I'm not crying over Disney dying. And here's the fun part about this. Now, I was looking into that just today. I was actually having my lunch, and I threw up one of the news channels when it comes to entertainment and stuff. And they were talking about AI. Now, this is where things get very, very interesting. And I don't know if you guys are going to be falling in on this. I know most of the folks who listen are like not quite my age, but around it. And the fact that the AI can actually create feature-length long videos with, if you want to put yourself in there already, and along with, Scarlett Johansson and, name another, Robert Downey Jr. or whoever else you're going to throw. I know those are the only first ones that came to mind, but you could literally put yourself in a Rambo movie, a brand new, never been seen before, only seen by you Rambo movie. Here's the text prompt, add a few more things, and boom, you're sitting there watching a full-length movie. And you don't have to pay $25 a person for the ticket, for the popcorn, for the water. And by the way, the popcorn and water is another $10 combined at least. And that's for a small popcorn. You get the big popcorn, you're talking $15 at least. And you don't have to drive anywhere. You literally sit your happy ass on the ground and just watch this. And I'm sitting there like, wow. Yeah, cinemas are fucked. I mean, they're not just fucked. They're fucked with a sandpaper condom. I mean, that's just, oof. They're done. And the thing is, Hollywood is not putting out any good movies. The last good ones I can think of off the top of my head was Godzilla -1, which was awesome, by the way, and I recommend it. Nobody 2, which was a rehash of the first one, but kind of not at the same time. Make sure you watch them in order so they make sense. And that's the only ones I can think of off the top of my head. All the rest of the movies, I'm sorry, they were black holes. They sucked. Actually, they broke the laws of physics by sucking and blowing at the same time. So it's absolutely positively crazy how technology is going. And because of that, those of us here that actually want to create our own, I know most everybody here likes to create their own stories, which, by the way, like I said, you guys write them, you send them in, I'm going to read them. It might take a while, they might come in quick, but I'm going to read them. Okay, usually I print them out first thing and they go into one quick file and they literally sit on this desk until I get to the point where I can read them. However, like I said, if you guys are writing something, again, just send it in. We had 2 this week. And when I say 2, I just mean 2 different artists or people who putting them together. Prozac, you yeah, now you got part 4 over there. I mean, you're making my job very easy. And I appreciate that. That being said, the original reason why I even started this live stream is because I started getting questions on how to build characters correctly, how to build a story correctly, how to build up a different area. How, like you guys say, I'm good at making space operas. I have no problem teaching people how to do that. Because guess what? Out there, there's somebody who's actually better than I am, but they just don't know how to do it. They just have to be shown the door. And once they step through that door, they're going to make an even better creator than me. And since I also have the moniker of a crazy uncle, that's what crazy uncles do. We help people. We want you to succeed. And like I said, if you guys got something, anything, even if it's only going to be like 2 or 3 minutes, I'm still going to put it on. If that means I don't get the money for it, so fucking what? You guys have been so generous. I mean, I couldn't I couldn't ask for a better audience than you guys. Okay, pure and simple. So, let's see. Before I jump on the last bit, maybe I'll throw on another, where was I? Another video. Hey, let's do some sliding. And that's going to be the only time you see somebody Tokyo drift a tank. All right. All right. Last couple bits before we jump into the chats over here. I will say, like I said before, I'm working on the scary, the spooky, and the brain twisting type of stories that I'm good at. Originally, this channel did start out as a spooky, scary horror story. Unfortunately, I had to ease off the gore because YouTube got on my case about it, but I think I'll bring some of it back. In any case, that's going to be for the month of October. On that, now you guys know I'm doing the files. However, if there's something else you want, put in the chat box or the comment section down there towards my, I saw you looking. But anyway, put in your requests if you want something as far as the more, like I said, mind twisting and kind of scary at night type stuff. You know, scary, spooky, gory, or just and generally twisted. If you want it, I will make it for you. Again, it's October. Let's do this. So, I got to throw this up. Got to get the banner up there. Remind everybody to make sure you are still subscribed. It is still happening, guys. Every single creator I know of is losing subscribers for absolutely no reason, and I have no idea why. Okay, I think YouTube has a bug up their ass. So we'll see how that goes. And right before I jump in the comment section, we'll go from Tokyo Drift to downtown Tokyo. You know, I take it back. That wasn't Tokyo. I looked at those buildings. That's China. Sorry, that was an easy shot, guys. That was easy. Just like that shot as he plugged the other tank right in the ass. All right. I see first one I want to go in here. Once again, I hope everybody said hello to Douglas. And he's saying his grandson is doing well, gaining weight as they should be. And again, everybody, if you could, raise your glass to the kid's health and all the best to him. And there's Chris saying he doesn't know which one to put next to his rotisserie chicken, rice or mashed potatoes. That's actually a difficult one. That depends on what brine you put the chicken in. If it's a more, shall we say, bitter or salty, then I would recommend the rice. If it's just something to bring the flavor of the chicken, I would go mashed potatoes. At least that's my go with it. Let's see. Brian says 7 more days and I have my days off. Oh, you're counting the minutes, aren't you? You're counting the minutes. What was it? 6 more days and a wake up. That's all you got to worry about. Just think of it that way. Let's see. Oh, and there's, of course, where is it? Oh, it's this one.
Greetings, mortals and other assorted beings.
You know, I don't even have to change my voice for that.
I just have to press this button. And thank you guys
so much. You guys were the ones that got me this. I appreciate it. And it's helped me out tremendously. Okay, let's see. Lenin says, there's some good isekai this season. Yes, like I was saying before, they are going back to the old mangas that came out like 10 years ago. And they are bringing in some really, really good ones. Unfortunately, there's a couple out there, like the one that just came out. I saw the preview for it, and the guy is jobless or skillless or however that is. And I'm sorry, I couldn't get through chapter 3. It was just, at least for me personally, it's just me talking here. I couldn't get through that because I thought it was cheesier than Velveeta. I mean, it was just bad, at least for me. I'm hoping that they bring back a few other isekais like villain, super villain, and evil lord and a new galaxy or however that was. There's another one that the guy, it's not actually an isekai. The guy is a experiment to make a better soldier, and he comes out a monster like hundreds of years in the future. And I think if they do that one and they do it right, that is going to be freaking awesome. It's a bit gruesome. And of course, they have to cover up the tatas that are in there. But then again, it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, save the tatas month. And is what it is. But then again, that's isekai. Every guy's got to get a freaking harem. Or as I forget who it was, he said they got to get all that elf poon. Yeah. I forget the guy's channel or whatever, but I thought he was doing a good job, and then he kind of shot himself in the ass. Anyways, Alan says, Sin, you don't have authorization to die on us. You have not filed out the forms in triplicate. I'm back to the gym, and I'm taking a decent amount of pills at the moment, trying to keep everything up and running, because after God knows how many different countries I've been in and walked through and done all sorts of shit, I don't know what's swimming around inside this meat suit anymore, which is actually kind of messed up, because if I had been able to keep how do I put this? If I never left the state and I just worked and didn't worry about nothing, and I had a decent amount of money, I could go probably over to Japan and catch myself a wife like that. Granted, I wouldn't want anything below the age of, say, 27, 28, which is for them is like middle age or some such. They have a weird way of calculating. However, what it comes down to is, how do I put this? Most of them don't like foreigners, but those that do, especially once they get into their high 20s, just want to get the fuck out. They're done with all the pressures. But they want somebody who doesn't carry a lot of baggage. And last thing they need is to go up to me and, draw the blood. And they're like, what the hell's crawling around in this blood sample? All that other fun crap. Who knows? Maybe I'll get another ozone treatment and call it good. Okay, Lena says, you were talking about the assassin isekai that has higher skills than the hero. Yeah, that's with the camera and everything. I'm like, why is it medieval when they have that much tech? It doesn't, and the thing is, something's wrong there. The character's going, something's wrong. So I don't know what it is, but something's wrong. I was given this concealment skill for a reason. Somebody up there is watching out for me. Sorry, guys, had to wet my whistle there. And no, I'm not just constantly thirsty. I usually don't talk this much. Yep, Steve saying how he loved PAI. Or the thing is, I didn't want to say pie because that's been used too much. And that's why I kept saying PAI through the whole thing. I know, Demon, you actually had it at times where PAI with the dots and everything. And I could have just called it pie. Then again, I didn't want to confuse people. So, yeah. See, Guardian says, half the people watching right now have sent a super chat. Yep. And very much appreciated. The old-fashioned double tap on the chest and point. That's back in the late 80s. That was a thing. That was a sign of respect. Like, dude, thanks. My heart to you. But unfortunately, thanks to Guardians of the Galaxy, that will never come back. It's a shame. All right, Guardians. Well, hold on. I just read that. Demon says, I replied to every comment on that video. We'll see what YouTube does. Yeah. I did see all of them. And I left a lot of that alone unless it was directed at me. Or I should say, but, it's, it was an interesting read to see everything. And again, I hope you guys accept the critiques, and anybody who trolls, well, I hope they get hemorrhoids. Okay. Okay. Demon apparently did a good backstory. You can see that. Guard says, oh crap, I actually forgot to check the comments. That's no worries there. Demon with, it was originally a standalone. The tie-in kind of just happened at the end because I saw how well it would fit. Yeah, I tried to. I gave it just a touch extra with me on the end, and that's it. And oh!
Holy Jesus! What is that? What the fuck is that?
That is another $10 super chat from Chris, who is, I don't know if he's on Prozac or pancakes. And he says, I felt left out, putting me on the spot like that. I'm not putting you on the spot, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate it very much. I'm not putting you on the spot. But yeah, I kind of pulled it off here. I'd pull your story back up again. The picture, I was trying to get something else up here. Anyways, hope I'm not, calling you out too much. But thank you very much for the super chat. Let me scroll back up here really quick because I have no idea where the hell I was. I think right about here. Oh, yep, pretty much. Okay, nope, I overshot it. Give me a sec. Guard says, also, turns out the hype system really has been working because I've been seeing a lot of older videos that I'm rewatching get more views. Oh, that's good. I as a creator, I don't get to see that. It doesn't come up on my stuff at all. All I see is a view count. That's it. Guardian says, the fact that the hype system actually works is good. Yeah. Hell yeah. And well, okay, Chris also saying hell yeah. And let's see. Oh, Guard saying, woo, the files makes it a triumphant return. Well, I hope so. You guys get the more, well, I'm not going to ruin anything. You guys know we don't do spoilers on here. I will just remind you that this next one is actually a two-part simply because of time restraints. It could have been actually a lot longer, but it wasn't. Okay. Even Brian saying, cool, a new file video. Yeah. The thing is, the files never got a lot of traction. So I don't know how that's going to work as far as the subscriber count and view count and all that other fun stuff. I mean, it is October. So we'll see how it goes. And we'll see how many other type of
creatures
that we have to deal with. Let's see. Lena's asking, what games are we talking about? I'm not sure which ones. Steve said the file stories have all been good so far. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Hopefully I can get back in the same groove. You'll see when you get there. There's been slight adjustments, but not much. And let's see. Steve says, I always like PC gaming a lot better. Yeah, probably because, again, you could do more with it. Now, the thing is, I started my gaming. We didn't have a Nintendo. I had a Sega, but the thing is, they went out because they insisted on making super high-quality games for the time, and their games were more expensive, and there was less of them. And marketing terms, that was, how do I put this? You know what? This guy can help me.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
And it's just, it is what it is. They didn't have the marketing, the Super NES. Oh yeah, Nintendo Entertainment. Now you're playing with power. All that shit. Yeah, they kind of got shot in the ass. But PC gaming, I grew up with like BattleTech, Mech Warrior 2. I think was the first one I actually sat and uploaded the whole thing, and I would beat the whole game in like 8 hours. Guard said, "Okay, what did I miss? I was busy doing something for a while." Oh, you didn't miss much. Just something like, oh, I don't know, this. Am I the only one that noticed in that clip a certain battleship captain decided to come around the corner and unload his entire combat load into that ship's aft? Yeah. I guess they took it in the stern. Okay, that's enough of that. That was too obvious a joke. Let's see, where was I? Okay, Chris says, not all sailors like a combat load to the face. Some of us like a candlelight dinner. Dude, you made me. Okay, let me say, not all soldiers like a combat load to the face. Some of us like a candlelight dinner first and a nice friendly bowl of Count Chocula in the morning. Oh, dude, you come up with some funny shit, just like the red Speedo thing, man. I couldn't get through that line. You'd be amazing how many outtakes I had getting through that. Stuff. Oh shit. Oh man. Okay, calm down. Okay, I'm breathing. Okay. Every time I read one of your comments, now I have to think.
It's a trap.
And all that. Guardian saying Darth. It's not dark. It's Darth. Darth. Talon is definitely hot. And of course, Chris does agree. And you know what? The thing is, and I've never read the books, but again, I got stuck on a tower with somebody who was a Star Wars encyclopedia. And he actually showed me a picture of her because she's like the seductive one. I'm like, she can't be drawn that hot. He showed me a photo. I'm like, I stand corrected. And it was just that simple. And I can see why people would be like, dude, I will spend you want the information, you want the credits, you want my ship to, you know what, a night with her and you can have the whole goddamn thing. Of course, granted, once you're behind closed doors, she's going to, use her glowing red dildo on you, not in a fun way. I guarantee that. All right, War Sniper. Oh, hold on. Says, wonder when Chris throws me in his story and how he's going to do it. Chris, do I need the info of my dragon character, or are you going to do it different? Yeah, actually, I saw this in the comment section too, and I believe there's some continuity. Now, I haven't read part 4, so no spoilers here, Chris. No spoilers at all. I'll just say, as far as continuity goes, that's the important part, because once you lose consistency, you lose everybody. I mean, just the story. I mean, as fun as the story is there's limits. Let's see. Guardian says you went from 2 viewers to 14, suddenly down to 10. It does that all the time. I can see the number. It bobs and weaves all the time. Don't even worry about it. See. Leonid says, Silver Surfer movie was okay, I guess. Makes me sit there and say, hold on, where's the button?
What?
I didn't actually see a Silver Surfer movie. I mean, that basically was the original Fantastic Four movie back in like 2008 or something like that, with Johnny Storm, who now plays Captain America. But still, the thing is, the Silver Surfer was an excessively overpowered character, even in the comics. If he wanted to, he could basically fart and destroy the planet anyway. Let's see. Chris saying, easy answer for Bond and Marvel. Change it into a girl. Make it gay. Turn it black and make it a chicken. That's a misquote. The whole put a chick in it, make it gay, and name, as in put a chick, as in a female in it, and make her gay, and then lame, as in disabled. Yeah, I don't know if that was a deliberate joke that they did on that, but the voice actor really slammed the home. Put a chick in her, make it gay and lame. You know what? I'm gonna put in here soundboard Cartman. Soundboard, and maybe I'll have some on my soundboard later on. Can't do it now because it says something with with downloading stuff to the soundboard. It makes my computer glitch. I don't know what it does, but every time I do that, I give it like within an hour, it's going to glitch out. It's weird. Okay, Lena says, can we call her Jane Bond? Nope, they can't do that. It has to be James. Why? Because they have to take the original name. They can't change that. They have to just grab everything that was good about it and squeeze it until it breaks, and then watch it ooze through the fingers. And yes, if you're seeing the visual, it's just as gross as you think, because they got everything by the balls, man, by the balls. There's Eric saying, you know what? Let's give him one of these.
Good evening, sinners.
That was the large robot. And see. Yep. Eric, every time I look at your name, I keep you put a doctor in front of that, and it's almost like Dr. Disaster, one of the guys I watch on occasion on YouTube. He's really goofy. He does a lot of entertainment stuff. Anyway, Guardian said, it's now 7. What's going on? What's going on? We're going down the chats, and every once in a while, we're watching one of the videos, which we have, I don't know, 1, 2, 2. We have like 7 or 8 more before the night's up. And let's see. And as I click back, for some reason, I hate when this thing jumps. Here we go. Lena says, AI can do Rick and Morty episodes. It's super easy and barely inconvenient. Honestly, I would like to watch Rick and Morty. Unfortunately, one of the executive producers if I met him in person, I'm going to jail because I'm probably going to put him into the ground. I mean, I'm not even kidding. I will probably rip his throat out and watch him gurgle. He's not a good person. So unfortunately, because of that, I can't watch the Rick and Morty, which is unfortunate because it looks funny. I watched a few of the episodes before I found out and I was enjoying it. And nope, can't do it. Demon says 100% recommend Godzilla -1 in color and black and white. I didn't know they did a black and white version. Awesome movie altogether. It was just a good movie. Oh my God. Why can't we make just good movies? Holy flying donkey turds, Batman. It just, it's so simple. Guardian said nothing like the original Gojira with English subtitles. Yeah. And he even spelled it right too. Most people don't even do that. For anyone who doesn't know, Godzilla was actually an American translation because the original name was Gojira, as in metal bands. It was Gojira at the time. Okay. War Sniper saying, Sin, did you get my other clips? I sent emails, 4 of them. All 4 having 2. Yes. I just had to go over a few of the other ones that were kind of backlogged. I had to fix the audio. And I think, where were we? We were somewhere around here. Guys, just make sure if the volume is still screwed up on these, you got to let me know. I can hear it just fine. I don't know if you guys can. So, and when he said mobility kill, that's actually 100% true. That means he can't move. It's just that simple. Let's see. Oh shit. Okay. Lena says, I like watching Cats and Dogs AI podcast videos. It's super interesting when they're talking. I haven't seen it. I don't get a lot of time to sit and watch those. Even though they have new ones of the aliens versus humans, I haven't had a chance to even sit and watch. They're only 2 minutes long, and I haven't had a chance to sit and watch them. That sucks. Yeah, up to 16 viewers. Woo! Actually, I read 17 right now, but we'll see how it goes. And Brian say, click the thumbs up. I appreciate you guys do. I usually don't make a big deal about that, but I'd appreciate it. Chris says, the AI video of the cat stealing the fish was great. Again, I haven't seen them. If anybody hasn't, if anybody has not seen them, by all means, take a mental note and watch them as soon as this is over, or open a second window, or however you want to do it. I trust you guys that you have decent taste and you wouldn't sit here and tell people to watch something that sucked. At least here, we're real. Even though we focus on escapism as far as the stories go, at least we're real here. Erica says, did you get my email this weekend? I believe so. I remember seeing it. Wait a minute. I replied to your email. Did you not get it? Let me go in, because I know I replied to an email from you. I think it was this past week. And I know I replied to one. Just double check to see if he got my reply back, because I could have swore. Okay. Demon says, I actually want everybody's thoughts on PAI, especially yours, Sin. And considering the tie in with the unknown fleet, what was the last minute hope it fit? Was the last minute hope it would fit in well? It did. It kind of, here's the kicker. And here's the fun part. I was kind of hoping you wouldn't try to tie it in but I wasn't going to stop you. Reason being is I was going to have my own little side thing about the origin of it, and now everybody knows where the origin comes from, so I can't do that. So if I was to extend on the unknown fleet, which is not really unknown, but that's just the title, then I'd have to do a complete adjustment. Not complete change, but adjustment, because then they would have to find out that all this time travel and what the fuckery is going on. And that honestly would probably, like you said, it would probably freak everybody out. I got to admit that's an honest to God true thing. I mean, most people would be like, wait, you time travel, motherfucker? Send me back. Let me excuse me. Wow. Let me fix a few things. Okay. Lena says, my favorite isekai was about the wild last boss. And I'm so happy the anime got an adaptation. I don't know. You're going to have to send a title or a name or something on that, because I am completely lost on that one. There's a lot of them now where I'm the villain, I'm the villainess, I'm the final boss, I'm the whatever it might be. And I know the story, so I know what's going to happen, this, that, and the other thing. There's a lot of those. So you're going to have to narrow that one down. Yeah, Demon say, I hope they don't mess it up. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's becoming a thing now, is just like reborn as a evil lord of a intergalactic empire. They cut so much out of that. And I mean so much. Unfortunately, that was a lot of the character building was what they messed up on that one. And just kind of, I don't know, it put a bad taste in my mouth. I mean, for what they put up there, they did a good job. But the pirate arc was completely altered. Got the right ending, but it was altered heavy. See, Chris says, Nobody Chan covered a good manga that is being made into an anime. It's about the Heavy Knight. Is that the one where the guy pulls off his helmet and he's a skeleton? That's the only one I can think of for Heavy Knight. And that actually was kind of funny. Like he's trying to be a noob and a little guy in the shadows, but when you're an 8-foot tall skeleton wrapped in friggin' basic titanium armor, no, you kind of stick out. Not to mention he's so overpowered, and he just don't acknowledge it. He's kind of like One Punch Man in that one, which was I can have my fill of that one, but you know, to each their own. Demon says, I haven't watched Nobody Can in a while, but I remember that one. Okay. There's Erica saying how much you love PAI. Would like to see how individualistic they are and aren't. Yeah. Yeah, that's another thing with recording, guys. Sometimes you just can't spit a word out. Anyways, Lean says, Cat's Eyes anime got a remake. I'm surprised they made a new version from the 80s manga and anime. You want to know something that got a surprisingly good remake from the 80s? Creature Commandos. I'm not even... I know I brought this up a few weeks ago, but holy flying crap. It's just... Wow. It's just so different from the campy piece of shit that we got back in the 80s. And now there's plenty of gore. There's even actual banging in there. Like fucking... Like they actually show, well, granted, it's just some guy's ass flexing there, and then they show the bride's boobies moving a little bit, but that's about it. And
Great Scott!
Well, something like that. More like
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Something ain't right, because the Guardian Save sent another $10 super chat, and he says, I have so many ideas for fan fiction and original stories. I need to get around to write down the outlines at a minimum. Yes, please. If you want, I can fill in the gaps. if you want me to. I would rather you guys actually do it yourself. However, if you can get a actual flowing outline, I can work with that no problem, because that's the way I used to run this channel. Some of these, like the files, are still more or less done that way. I say more or less because they're not fully structured exactly right with the, the Roman numeral I and then the capital A and then small and then small. No, it doesn't work that way. However, again, if you got an outline you want me to just, put the meat on, I'll do it. I would recommend, however, if you have an intention on making your own story, I very highly suggest you do the entire story. Let's see, where was I here? There I was. Okay. Chris says, oh, remember, it's a DA form 31 you have to fill out before dying, but you have to fill out your travel reimbursement form in advance. For those that don't know, the DA form 31 was for leave, to go on leave, basically vacation. And yeah, I still have a DA 31 floating around here. I had it left over in my paperwork. I never threw it out. I think it was like the first one I ever filled out, and I didn't want to lose it. Guardian saying 18 viewers is a new record for the channel. Yeah, actually it is. Oh, I think I got, well, no, I can't think of hitting 20, but hey, I'm just glad everybody's here. Demons thanking Erica. Didn't want to go into too much detail for that story, but I do want to go into more detail. And what it comes down to is making sure, by all means, keep a notepad on you in case you have a sudden flash of inspiration. And, write, even if you just scribble a few words, just enough to remind yourself of what was going on. And it's important. I've actually pulled off the road just to actually write stuff down real quick, and it turned out to be some of the best stuff I made. They come from the dead zone was actually brought up by that. I had actually stopped for fuel, and as I'm fueling up, it just kind of whacked me in the face. I was like, no freaking way. That's gonna sound good. And I sat down and I thought about it almost the whole way back, but then as soon as I sat down, everything fell out of my head. So I pulled out my notes. I was like, okay, now I know where I'm going. And then I sketched everything out, basically. There's War Snipers talking about his videos. Oh, you only hype my videos? That's awesome. I appreciate that. Speaking of videos, I think it's time to take a break and look at, where were we? Right here.
I've learned to walk the line between hope and caution. We've had other opportunities that didn't work out, but I will admit I'm leaning toward hope this time.
I believe the phrase there was nailed it. All right. Hold on. I missed something. No, I didn't. Okay. Sorry. This thing kind of jumped on me and I thought I seen something I didn't see. Where was I? Sorry, guys. This thing jumped again. You fucking pain in the ass. Okay. Let's go here. Leonid says, I think I found a new anime about Reincarnator interesting. There's a character who has a spirit queen mother, and her father is a hero from the isekai who's also half spirit. I am at a complete and total loss. I don't know anything about that one, so I can't say nothing. Guard says, yeah, I know this is Sora 2 or whatever the hell is called. AI app is out of control. Yeah. Oh, pretty soon it's going to be almost impossible to tell. Now, here's one of the things that I just happened to notice this when people were talking about how good AI was going. They have the AI actress. And one of the key things was the actress that was there looked very, very realistic. They got the hair flow, they got the dimples, the shadowing was done well. It was almost too perfect. And then I noticed something. It was the background. Everything in the background is blurry. And I don't mean blurry as in your eyes aren't quite focused on it. I mean actually fucking blurry. I'm like, actual cameras don't do that unless you're a lot farther away. But then you look at her feet. Literally everything around her feet is blurry, even stuff that's closer. I'm like, that's not how that works. So they haven't quite figured that out yet. But sooner or later they will. Probably sooner than later. Guard says, I swear to you on Instagram, I ran into a 1.5 minute long video that was Michael Jackson and Adolf Hitler having a rap battle with Eminem and Joseph Stalin smoking joints in the background. My brain now hurts. Hold on, let me get the steam away from my ears. Whoo, psst, it's burning me. Okay. What the hell, man? Seriously, pretty soon you're going to get your own Guardians of the Galaxy quality stuff. Continues. Oh, yeah. And the answer to your question on why I'm always usually behind the enemy in the Elden Ring stuff is usually because there are 3 of us. Okay. Well, I mean, safest way to attack somebody in their back. Only you're doing it with swords. I usually did it with piano wire. Actually, that's kind of a half lie. I learned how to do it and I carried it. I never used it. But you know what they say, better to have and not need than need and not have. And by the way, yes, that piano wire does work. If you ever used one of those wire cutters for cheese where you just kind of pull it down, you don't even use that much force and it cuts just as easy. Let's see. Guard says, as usual, and usually somebody finds a good weapon, but it is a debuff if it increases the aggro of the enemies will have towards you by X amount of percentage. I think my teammate said it was 22% increase. Yeesh. That sucks. Let's see. War Sniper said, Sin, that wasn't a battleship. That was a cruiser. Okay. Is that one with the funky cannons? Is that what you're talking about? No wonder it doesn't have the actual kapowie out of the guns. Yeah, cruiser that released its load. Okay. Come on, guys. How many times have I done that joke? Get in behind the enemy and release your entire combat load into them. Put the torpedoes deep inside, scramble their guts, and break their back at the same. Come on, it's the same joke. It writes itself. Gets old if you use it too much. Lena says, it's possible that around 10 years ago, artificially modified asteroid crashed into the Pacific Ocean with enough radioactive material to create a nuclear reactor. Then how come we didn't get a tsunami? There should have been something, unless it was pointed in a very particular direction. I didn't hear anything about that at all. If you got something, by all means, send me, go into the box down below. It's got my email address. If you know of something that's got some proof, some teeth to it, I'd love to look into it. Guardian Sage says, well, you know what? Let me do this right.
Darn autocorrect. I forgot to double check to make sure it said Darth instead of Dark.
It's all good. And she's still, and the thing is, if you actually look at the way all those folks dress when they're not slaves at one point, with the exception of 1 or 2, they're always in almost nothing because that's just the way their world is. They don't wear a lot of clothing, just like the species of Ahsoka. She didn't wear a lot. And then you look at her best friend Barris before she turned into a bitch. She dressed like a freaking nun because that's what their species, even the guys dress like that. So, yeah. You know, it makes sense continuity-wise. That's why I always gave it a pass, as long as it worked for the continuity of the actual area. Okay, MTF Guard says, Dad, the Fantastic Four movies were so ass when they first came out, but now that I watch him, now I'm like, wow, this is actually good. The original Fantastic Four movies with like the commish playing Ben Grimm, I could not get behind just for one simple reason. They kept getting cheered for fixing their own fuck ups constantly. And I'm just like, what? Except for the final fight. That really wasn't their fault. He continues, says, where in the hell did Dad where did I get Dad from at the beginning? I don't know. Lena says, at least in video games, Jedi are forced to wear skirts and dresses. That's unfortunate. The same goes for Sith too. Jedi has pants sometimes. Yeah, I think it has more to do with the robe than anything else. Yeah. Although you put Anakin Skywalker in a dress, he kind of loses his badassery as Darth Vader. Where was I? Okay. Alan says, so far, fine with sound. Okay, good. I might have to crank them up a little higher because for some of them, at least to me, they sound kind of low. Lena says, the Sith have better fashion in the games. Well, maybe if they weren't monochromatic, I'd agree with you. Well, maybe in the Old Republic stuff, they were different, but you get the farther you go, the more it's just solid black. Wars Never says, Sin, fun thing to know that tank I killed was 6 levels higher than me. Why I obtained the God Mode medal. I think it's God Mode. Hey, you're much better at that stuff than I am. I'm just going to say it that way. Lena says, it's so uncanny to when you watch AI cats and dogs talk, it's like you're listening to humans. Yeah, why not? Back in the day, they did Look Who's Talking. Why not? Guardian says, you're telling me they don't have Jedi wearing pants in video games? How scandalous. Chris says, because I would never recommend anything bad, one to watch with the whole family is 2 Girls, 1 Cup. Grandma will love it. I do know. Come on. Now, the kicker is there's a video out there. I still remember I was over in Korea. They had set up a camera to look and they're like, hey, Sergeant, come on. You got to see this. Just watch the whole video. And I'm sitting there, I'm watching. And they're like, what do you think? I think you got problems. Are you enjoying? Is this what you freaking whack it to? Because seriously, this is wrong. But they're waiting for me to go, oh, geez, I wasn't doing any of that. Just totally stone-faced. And they're like, oh, you're no fun, Sergeant. We're done in here. I'm like, whatever, piss off. I'll see you tomorrow for PT. They actually follow me down the hallway, stop at another NCO's room, and go, come on, Sergeant, I want to show you something. I just go, no, you won't. Get away from his door. Get away from his door right now. Time now. All I want to see is assholes and elbows running the other direction. And if you're not gone in the next 10 seconds, I'm going to get the entire company out here and I'm going to smoke the shit out of you. Now get. Then I told the guy what they were trying to get him to watch. He's like, oh man, they got me with that 10. I'm like, yeah, that was disgusting. And that's when I broke down and finally went, oh. I mean, just no. Exactly how high do you have to be to even consider being part of one of those videos? You know what? To get the bad taste out of her mouth, let's see. Where haven't I gone yet? How about here? Let's pull a quick one.
Target destroyed.
Okay, how in the hell did you take out a tank with a machine gun on a York? That's just... Okay, my brain hurts. All right. Oh shit! I hate when this thing jumps. God, ew. Man, this thing's a pain in the ass sometimes. Steve says even Yoda wears a dress. Actually, he wasn't. He was in a robe. He was in basically like a, not really a bathrobe, but how do I put this? Kind of like a yukata over in Asia. You know, something they wear to like the festivals and stuff. It's still pants. I think if I got the name right, I'm probably got it wrong. Let's see. Chris says, Demon, your last one was amazing, and I didn't see the twist at the end. Erica said, you know what? I'll have to look again, Erica. I know I sent you a reply on your video or on your email. I'll have to go again. Sometimes the emails don't like me. See, Demon, it's not just you. It's not just you, man. It's all of us. It's all of us. It's got us all. All right. Speaking of which, Demon says, one thing I want to see also not is PAI versus the Guardian Order. Oh dear God. I believe, I wish I had the volume up so I could say inconceivable as high as I could. I really got to fix that.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Something is if this thing will fall in. And we have a Joseph Blanche coming in with a $5 super chat where he simply says, brains. Why, are you missing yours? And let me get this right. Okay. And you know what? Yeah. I'm gonna put in there that's zombies. That's since that's gonna be your thumbnail there. It's gonna be a whole bunch of zombies. Or maybe Archer going, you want zombies? Because that's how you get zombies. I think I used that a few times for you. Let's see. Guardian says, playing Generation Zero right now, and my character got hit so hard that the scope of my RPG 7 is now glitched out of existence. Okay, that means it basically got shot off. Lean says, the anime called A Wild Boss appears. In that anime, the dude gets isekai'd as his video game character from the online video game. Okay, those are fairly common. She is a very powerful angel in Black Wing. Oh, yeah, that's right. Where the first thing the guy goes, like, he literally, the first thing goes, where's my dick? Where's my dick? Where the hell did my dick go? What the hell? And I saw the preview for that. Didn't get to see the whole thing, but apparently the character is so powerful that with basically a word, they could blow a castle away or some craziness like that. Didn't see the whole first episode. Not really my thing with the gender swap. I mean, maybe it's really good. Maybe I'll have a chance to actually sit and watch it. But again, time is time, my friends. He continues with the average level of the people in that world is 120, and she is over level 1000. Yeah, that'd be enough to scare the shit out of most people. Demon's talking about the butts with Stellar Blade. Let's see. Guardian says, PAI versus Guardian Order. That sounds like a nightmare that could crack the galaxy or two. Yeah, I could see that happening. That's literally two unstoppable forces attacking each other. Because the thing is, the Guardian Order, when I talked about him, I nerfed the shit out of him. Believe me. You can even ask Guardian Sage here. His stuff was so powerful, it was scary. Basically the Jedi and the Sith combined on steroids and meth. I mean, just with a little bit of PCP in there, just for good measure. And again, like I said, I nerfed the shit out of him because you're talking about them overrunning PAI and him going back in time over and over and over again just to get the slightest of advantages over and over and over again, trying to weed them back. The problem is you're talking about a power level so much that even PAI would be like, how many times do I have to fucking do this? It's just, yeah. It's just that would just be crazy. Demon says, as I said, I want to see, but also not. Okay. Guard says, kind of funny that you can put attachments on the scopes that give it something like thermal sights, which is, it's actually called FLIR, night vision tech scan that is still attached to it. So I just have a floating there. Huh. That's weird. At least your optic still somewhat works, unlike when Wolf decided to hand me her weapon and we found out why we couldn't zero her weapon for nothing because her fucking optic didn't work and she didn't tell anybody. Oi, Chihuahua. Lena says, they released a new season. Wait a minute. They released a new season of Ranma 1/2. Sorry, I tried to think about that logically and my brain broke. Ranma 1/2 came out over 20 years ago. I'm going to say that one again. This is an anime that is over 20 years old since the last time they released something. And they're bringing out a new season? Unless they're doing a complete remake like they did with Creature Commandos, I don't see this going over super well. Or it's going to turn into a hentai really freaking fast. Now, as far as Spy Family goes, I've only seen bits of that, and it looks pretty funny. I got to admit, it looks funny. I just don't have the time to sit and binge watch seasons. I will say I did get to see a little bit of Spy Family where the lady got shot in the ass, literally shot in the ass, and she couldn't sit down. She was going on a date and she wanted to go on the date, but she couldn't sit down. She couldn't sit in the car or anything like that. It was kind of funny. Oh, shit. Guardian Sage says PAI should be announced more like pay or than pie. Well, yeah, I could see that. You're right. You're right. You could say that. Yes, pay for more. Yes. Hold on. I need. Let me do this right. Let me do this right.
Yes. Pay for more bullshit, mortals.
That actually hurt to do that laugh. Okay. Hey, look over here. Kind of old school, but it works. Let's see. Lena says, battleship guns reload in over 30 seconds or more. Really slow by game standards. Well, yeah, that is 100% true. I will say this. Whenever you see any of these channels who actually have the true honest-to-God simulators going on, you'll see such a massive difference between something like an Iowa class compared to, say, a Bismarck class. Because even though the Bismarck could fire larger shells at a longer range, the fact that they could not fire them for about 45 seconds to a minute between shots was a major problem. And they had and all it was the machines had to move them a little slower because they were actually packing in more powder. And, obviously bigger machinery moves a little bit slower. And the Iowa class, it was all about getting those shells out as fast as you could so they could see where the splashes was so you could adjust fire so you could land one right on someone's face. And, yeah. And what was it? Iowa class was 28 to 31 seconds between shots, and the Bismarck class, if I remember correctly, was 44 seconds average. Don't quote me on that. I have to look it back up. It's been a long time since I looked into it. But yeah, you're right. When you're in close quarters combat like that, because I mean that's really close what you guys are doing. You know, you want to get as many shots out as possible. That's 100% true. Sometimes it's just the more you get, the more you know. Anyways, Demon says, my favorite tank in World of War tanks is the KV-2. It either one-shots the enemy or bounces off. It's Russian roulette with 30-plus second reloads, or try again. They got the one over there, kind of a snub nose. I'm trying to remember exactly what it is, the designation. But it fires a shell the size of a propane tank. And if that thing hits anything, even a moss, it ends it. The problem is it takes like a full minute to reload that son of a bitch. Last time I seen somebody actually use that, it was I was sent a video by somebody I actually deployed with, and he's a tanker himself. He goes, watch what us tankers can do. And they lined them up. They had one spotter, and they're like, all right, raise like 20 degrees, right 3 degrees, fire. And they all just went off. And of course, he's like, just one, you stupid motherfuckers. And it's adjust fire, 5 degrees left, drop 6, fire for effect. And of course, they had all the gauges and everything adjusted because that's not the actual fire commands. However, he was out there in his tank using the better optics to look down on everybody. He was well out of range and nobody could see him. And they just realized that like half a grid square exploded. And, you know, half their team was pretty much screwed. The only problem is that only works once. Then they went and got their bombers and just basically strafe runned off the side and just took everybody out, which was, yeah, it is what it is. Anyways, sorry, off in the weeds. SS Demon says, to be honest, PAI versus Order might crash dimensions, much less galaxies. Hopefully they stay on good terms. Hopefully they don't know about each other. Guard says, come on, Sin, send the EMP explosion clip. You know what? Let me look. Where is it? It is, I think it's this one. You know, I still remember watching that the first time, and when it exploded, I was like, I wonder why that just blew up. And then I realized it didn't actually blow up because the guy stood up and like, he should be dead. But he wasn't. Anyway, ask and you shall receive on that one. Let's see. Lena says, you were going to wear Sith skirt and you were going to like it. You're going to wear a Sith skirt and you're going to like it. Try saying Sith skirt 10 times fast. I fucking dare you. That actually hurt my teeth. Let's see. Guard says, it's probably the funniest clip I've seen yet. Then me boinking that tiger with the Char 2C from halfway across the map. Goes up. Touchdown! I find it funny in the Clone Wars how Anakin actually says he's not wearing a skirt. Well, that was basically just a long jacket, so I can't say too much. But yeah, it was kind of frilly as he moved. It was fabulous. See, he continues with, and Obi-Wan tried to argue with him only for Yoda to step in and save him. Okay. I'm not even going to go there. Come on. It's bad enough they're running around waving their glowing dildos at each other. So I'm done with that. War Sniper says, Sin, it's a 6-time American, excuse me, there's 6 American 50 cal on a light tank for anti-air. You're a sergeant, so you should know how effective against light armor targets when you hit them at their side. Yeah, but that maybe I looked at it wrong, but that sure as hell looked like an actual armored tank. If that was a tank destroyer, yeah, it's going to cut through it like it's not even there, especially at point blank range. I don't know if that's actually in the game, but I should guess it is because we just saw it blow it up. But you're right. 650s would, yeah. How did the chubby Sparky say? Blow out all the candles on your family tree, or how, or whatever. Blow all the candles on your birthday cake at once. Joseph saying, just died in a tabletop RPG to zombies. Zombies? That's how you get zombies. No, unfortunately, I didn't grab that. What do you get, zombies? I don't have it in my images here. I can only have so many images at this point. Let's see. Steve says, well, he was arguing with Mace Windu as well. So Demon says, is it sad I recognize that I 100% recognize that booty anywhere? Well, as long as you're not talking about mine, I think you're safe. Leon says, I know that there is an anime called Classless. He doesn't even have a class, but he can copy every ability. I believe that's what's coming out now. And I personally could not get behind the manga. I personally didn't enjoy it. For some reason, it just didn't resonate. And I have no idea why. I know a lot of people did like it. If they didn't, then it wouldn't have sold. If it didn't sell, it wouldn't be made into an anime right now. So there you go. Demon saying how he loves the Spy Family. You just like that assassin girl. Sleek and deadly. You know, you spend a night with her and you wonder if you're going to even wake up the next day at all. Like maybe she'd be on top of you putting a weapon in your face or something. Or maybe you like it if she holds you down and chokes you. I don't know. Leah says, there's also a new revenge anime about a child who has unlimited ability to summon an overpowered maid with a level over 9,000. Now, that one there, the manga that is based off of came out almost a decade ago. I just happened to read the first two of them. I'm sure there's more. However, that one gets very inventively gruesome at times. And I love anime like that. You know, even without all the extras that was in Redo of Healer, just the revenge part was enough to keep me interested. You know, that's the kind of stuff I like. I don't know why I shouldn't. Maybe I just have a dark side. A something dark side. All right. I'm just going to throw one more up here. Where was I? I don't remember which one I was on. I think, well, let's hack and slash. And what's the guy doing? Carrying a dual Zanbato on that? Because those are not regular katanas, I'll tell you that much. Not unless he's a halfling or something like that. Anyway, back in the comment section, we got Guard. He says, I think I know which one you're talking about. Tell me the name of it. I'm pretty sure I'm reading them on Google. Or reading the manga for it. You know, the thing is, I don't remember half the names. It's been so long since I read them. I haven't read manga in a long time, which is kind of weird. Sometimes when I'm driving, if I do have a long drive, I'll actually put one on. I'll just listen to it. But the problem is I can't stop and look at the screen, which is one of the reasons why I don't do it that often. Anyways, Lenin says the new Ranma 1/2 anime is basically a soft reboot. They are remaking the story that they're closer to the manga by keeping the 80s timeline. Really? Like I said, that gets very Very suggestive. Anybody who does not know Ranma 1/2, it's kind of a joke series. The guy and this girl who doesn't like guys, they get engaged to each other via family. But the problem is there's a curse on the guy. Every time he gets sprayed with cold water, he turns into something else, which is usually a pretty little girl who is very, very well stacked, which kind of pisses off his fiance, not because it turns into a girl, but she doesn't like the guy version, but she hates the girl version because the attitude doesn't change and the girl version is prettier than her. And then a whole bunch of other people show up or they turn into something else if they get hit with cold water, and they turn back to themselves with hot water. And I'm just sitting there like, what the hell is going on? And my brain is starting to hurt so much. And the thing is, they just kept adding more and more and more and more and more people with the same type of shit. And it just got old. At least for me, I'm just like, guys, continue the story. How about some character development here? Because the closest they ever got was respecting each other. Then magically, you have a movie where they're getting married and screwing. I'm like, how do you get from respect to that? That doesn't make sense. Okay, Demon says, not saying it would have changed the war or anything. Hold on. But the Bismarck was misused, and the captain should have returned to port well before he got caught out like that. That ship had the potential to survive the war if done right, or at least sank at D-Day. That's true. The issue was when the Bismarck, as you know, was they had it in the wrong spot. They needed it in the Mediterranean. If they had the Bismarck in the Mediterranean, they literally could have held the entire coastline. You're talking about weapons that could reach in farther than the Iowa class and hit so hard that nobody even wanted to test it. Not to mention, with the engineering they had, those were fairly accurate guns once they got the practice on them. The crew did not have the practice they needed. And a lot of times when you're doing ship versus ship, large cannon combat like that, just basic slug matches, a lot of times luck has a lot to do with it. Now, I will say a lot of the tried and tested and a lot of training has a lot to do with it too. And case in point, one of the reasons our carrier pilots were so well off in the Pacific was they actually started off in the Great Lakes on a bunch of paddle boats, basically, that had flat tops on them. And they practiced on these boats that couldn't go more than about 5 or 10 knots on perfectly level areas, so that if something screwed up, nobody was going to get crunched. They had a chance to literally crawl, walk, run. So by the time they actually got out into the ocean, these guys were so much better trained than their Japanese counterparts. It was crazy. Don't get me wrong, a lot of the Japanese had some really awesome pilots. But as far as training versus training, you couldn't match it. It wasn't even close. Now, the same thing kind of goes for our battleships and things like that, is we had a lot of our guys training a lot, drilled heavy on the weapons they're going to be using. So they got a chance to actually put some time in. The Bismarck crew didn't have that. They had to go by their dry runs, and it cost them. And it's a shame to watch a beautiful piece of machinery go down like that, but things could have been much worse if she survived. Let's see. Chris says, I never knew what fear was until I lost my NVGs during a field training exercise, his night vision goggles, also known as nods. Turned out I put them in the wrong pouch and I had them the whole time. Oh, man. Oh, geez. You will actually shut down a post for a set of nods. It is just crazy. And the weird thing is, they're like, oh, it's a national security threat. Motherfucker, I can buy them from Ranger Joe's for $1,200. I get a discount if I buy them wholesale. I mean, it's not national security. That's bullshit. Anyways, yeah, unfortunately, somebody decided to lose my buddy's nods. He let him borrow the nods, and he's like, "Oh no, you lost yours. These were mine." And then they check the numbers. I'm like, he's had enough problems over the course of his deployment. He doesn't need this type of bullshit. And come to find out, they never actually checked the numbers during the inventory. The guy had memorized the numbers. So when they said, you know, give me the serial number of this, that, and the other thing, he just mentally just rattled them off. Lena says, I watched recently old Pokemon videos. There were several about what happens in the Pokeball, and then there's another one about realistic Pokemon attacks. It was real funny. Metal Beam and Meteorite Beam. Now, I only did once what would happen if they mixed the Pokemon universe and ours, and there was some sort of latch in where suddenly we had those absolutely freakish monsters running around. It would not be a child's cartoon. I tell you that. Now, I did not go full bore into that. However, if you guys want, I could. And it would probably be, I'd have to do a little bit of research. I would have to call up my nephew because he knows this stuff more than I do. And I would have to find out which ones were the most worst to be around. And that would be the ones I would focus on out in the woods and trying to get in through your windows and stuff like that. Just to make a creepy, creepy story. Speaking of creepies, did we watch this one yet? I don't know.
Target destroyed.
Yeah, sorry, that was a repeat. And yes, that was a tank destroyer. You are absolutely right. The 50 caliber would punch through that like it wasn't even there. And which one is this one? Oh, come on, man. Shoot and move, shoot and move, shoot and move. Don't stay there out in the open. Nobody ever wants to be out there in the open. I mean, come on, especially now they got drones, man. That's worse. That is so bad. That is seriously so bad. Let's see. War Sniper here. It wasn't really a tank. It was sort of an APC with a fast shooting cannon and a tow missile. Okay. Let's see. Devin says, you love my what? She's adorable and deadly. Oh, you're talking about the assassin chick on the anime. Okay. I think it took me a second to remember that's what the name was. Cause again, I don't watch the show. You're not right. Why not? Let's see. Guardian says, was that guy actually dual wielding a pair of Adachi swords in a video game? I don't know. It wasn't my video game. And since we're running short on the chat box here, I'm going to look for another video. And how about this one? Nope, that's the same one. How about this one? Okay, I gotta say this because this is the one thing in these video games they always get exactly right. As soon as you fire, if you have to reload, find some cover, man. Find some cover. Get behind cover. And I've even had the same speech with basic trainees. Is because if you're just like if you're in any video game and you're firing and you have to reload and you're out there in the open and you're finger fucking this thing, guess what? They're gonna blow your goddamn head off while you're standing there with your thumb up your butt trying to figure everything out. See, Lena says Star Wars, I'm guessing this is the Old Republic stories, are basically anime shonen trooper and bounty hunter story as an example. Okay. Steve says, try bringing a pair of NVGs back in 6 pieces. That's a sweet of death? What? Oh, sweat of death. I would say so. At one point, I was actually handed over a pair of nods, and they said, yeah, here's yours. I said, but there's a crack in it. I don't give a shit. You just take them. Okay. Just bring them back in one piece. I never fell over. I didn't break them. I handed them back to the sergeant. He's like, there's a crack in them. I told you about that before we started. I don't give a shit. That guy was a douchebag, by the way. And I don't mind saying his name. Snow, if you're out there, fuck you. Seriously, fuck you and die. He was just a piece of shit. Anyways, Chris says, I will never understand why they didn't park a battle group in the Straits of I'm going to mispronounce this. Gibraltar. Sorry. Gibraltar back in a bit and take advantage of that fatal funnel. Yeah, you guys don't know where that is. That's at the base of Spain and I think it's Algeria or whatever. That tiny little area, that's a hell of a bottleneck. Actually, that was the point of the Bismarck. That's why they were so adamant about getting it inside the Mediterranean. Inside the Mediterranean, they would have been able to hold what they had and force everybody back. The attacks across through Sicily would have failed and failed miserably with that ship out there. They would just been hammered, and Patton's group would not have got anywhere. And trying to push up Italy when you got guns that can literally reach halfway across the peninsula, no, you're not getting that far. Now, a good plan, but unfortunately it failed because somebody was overzealous and somebody else was a fucking idiot. Okay, Chris says, the Allies would have not been able to break that easily. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Let's see. Demon says, hindsight's always 2020. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Just wait until we actually get to 2036 and we can finally get our time travel stuff. Then you're really going to see some really strange stuff happen. Steve says, some reason we haven't glassed China yet. Chris, too many bleeding hearts. Well, no. In all honesty, if you look at the way China's going, with the exception of them having a whole bunch of kamikaze drones, they are falling apart militarily. Their fleet cannot handle blue water. Their military is so woefully untrained, it is sickening. Their infrastructure is literally falling apart because of tofu dreg construction. They can't feed themselves because they've poisoned everything. I mean, their country is falling apart, and the fact they had the one-child policy is causing demographic collapse. What happened is when you have one child, they have what they call little emperor syndrome. Everything, it revolves around that one child. It's worse when you have, I think it was 9 men for every 1 female, which means the female thinks that she's always going to have her choice and time is not a factor. Once they get to the age of 30 over there, it becomes a major factor. It doesn't matter if there's no women, she is just tossed aside. So they're not having they're going into a major demographic collapse, and pretty soon they're going to have a massively aged population. I have the same problem in this town. We have a massively aged population. We have no kids. We have no extra income coming in because all these older folks who got in decided, oh, we don't want new businesses. We want this to be a classic old town. Fuck all that noise. If you're not going to bring in new business, you're not going to bring in any new blood, the town's going to die, just like China's going to die. It has little to do with bleeding hearts. You just watch. Pretty soon they're going to be, oh, we got to send all this food over to China to feed them all. No, we don't. Oh, and there's even Guardian saying, shoot, move, and communicate. Boom, boom. Yep. Exactly. Because that's the thing. What's the old, it's an acronym for MOVE. Motionless operators ventilate easily. I heard that in like the second or third year I was in the Army, and I was like, what? And it didn't occur to me. And all of a sudden he goes, move your ass. I was like, okay, I get it now. Let's see. War's Number says, Sin, the one I used in that video is the same one I killed with the American light tank with a 50 cal. Okay. Guardian, raining down on the enemy. Yeah. And you can always tell if you guys, especially you guys who played War Thunder, even Battlefield 1, it was, you could see these guys who were actually military trained. And when they videoed their own game and they send it out, they're using the exact nomenclature, the exact verbiage. They're doing everything exactly right. And they're just wiping the floor with everybody. And they're just winning like crazy, but they get banned very, very easily, which I think is bullshit. I mean, if you're going to play the game, you play to win. Now, if you have a clan of, say, 20, and you all come in with, say, B-17s, and you come in perfect formation, and over the comms, you hear, pilot to bombardier, your ship, Roger, my ship, and everybody just turns over, and he goes, Bombay doors open, everybody's Bombay doors open, and they're just lining up with him, and then it's like bombs away, and everybody just carpet bombs this one area. Next thing you know, almost the entire enemy team is gone. And the few guys that are on the ground are like, well, fuck this, easy. They get in position to ambush the shit out of somebody. And they, you get ahead on points. Well, you win the fucking game. The one I don't like is when people decide to video their own game with the clan, but they're just trying to get, fancy clicks or something like that. I'm just like, no. Play the game like you want to win, not like you want to make a good video. Because if you make a good video, you fail at the game, and then you make people not want to play the game. I'd rather people want to play the game. Sorry, off in the weeds, guys. I'm sorry, off in the weeds. Lena says, are you talking about the Yandere Spy? Yes, I believe they are. And Erica said, I love Spy. Yeah, it's more of a, I think it's aimed more for you, Erica, than it would be for me. I don't do the romance stuff. Demon says, based on the games I play online, what is communication? Because no one works together. They all think they're Rambo and need no help. That is where, when I used to play MechWarrior Online, and if I uploaded it onto this computer, I would be playing for like 3 hours a day at least. Because everybody worked together. There's exceptions, of course. But you'd be sitting there, and usually the one I use was like a Jaeger mech because the weapons are up high, and I could outfit it with some really reach out and touch somebody, as in touch them right across the face weapons. So I'm spotting for them. And I'm over there, it's like, yeah, we got assaults moving, Charlie 4 through Delta 4. Stand by. Everyone swing left. It's just standard communication. I'm not trying to actually use full acronym or stuff like flank this over here, defilade, and all that other fun stuff. However, everybody did work together, and you could tell the other team was, because everybody tried to coordinate with each other. Just like when I got I'd get caught up where I was. Some light would come up and start shooting me. I'd launch a UAV, immediately hit the push to talk. Mayday, mayday. I got a light digging on my ass. Echo 4. All LRMs, lock on. Fire for effect. Fire for effect. And all of a sudden, I didn't even care if I got hit. It'd just be raining missiles on there. And of course, that would usually screw them up bad enough where I could get a good shot and take them out if they didn't take them out. But yeah, communication is everything in those. Let's see. Leonid, I like how all German tanks are cat girls. Okay, I don't know where you're going with that. Demon says, you know what video game I really miss playing? Operation Darkness. It was World War II supernatural turn-based RTS type game with werewolves and vampires and shit. Was hella fun and had a good story. Yeah. I never played it. I missed a few games. The one I wish I hadn't thrown the discs out, or I shouldn't say throw the discs out, I gave them away, was the original Star Wars Battlefield or Battlefront 1 and 2. Those were just fun to play. I mean, you could be down there for days playing those and never get bored, especially playing Galactic Conquest. And now that I gave myself a homo suspicion point, maybe I'll just throw one of these on here. Nope, that's the EMP. How about this one?
It didn't work out, but I will admit I'm leaning toward hope this time. Brace for impact. One disaster after another on this ship. Unknown battleship, identify yourself. Stand down, repair teams. I need some coffee. Target.
From threading the needle to fire for effect. Why not? All right. Demon's here saying Anakin will be disappointed because he has a skirt. Well, I always looked at that character and thought he was a little off. Chris says, I did a joint operation with the Chinese. They couldn't even use their weapons, let alone carry them. Yeah. It's actually sad. I actually got a chance to work with the Japanese. Those guys are pretty cool. There was a lot of problems with the language barrier because I only know at that point like 3 or 4 words in Japanese. Most of them knew enough English to get by, but it wasn't cool. Still, it was interesting. Their weapons were so light. We're like, can these even hold up? Then we saw the caliber and we're like, yeah, okay, never mind. Lena says, I guess at this point, everybody probably heard about Chinese practicing biotechnology. Yeah. The whole thing about they got the 30-year regeneration thing going. They got the artificial wombs and everything they're finally coming out with. And by the way, that's going to be you're going to do this or else type situation where they say, we don't care if you're a single man, you're going to raise this child. And whose DNA is in there? Who knows? Probably every single one of them looks like, bing, that guy. Anyways, Chris also says, and their battle rifle is a joke. I failed out of sniper school during the stalking phase, and I could hit shit with that joke, or I couldn't hit shit with a weapon, or with that weapon. Yeah, wow. Like I said, the amount of training they get is just silly. It really is. I think in their entire career, if they only go through their mandatory service, they fire a grand total of, I think, was it 12 rounds of ammunition? Shit, I burned through that in the first 5 minutes. SS Team says, oh, Battlefield 1, the game was about shooting down planes. Oh, wait, that was my experience. Okay. No, there wasn't any liquor in that. I just thought I'd do that. He also says, I'm glad it made someone other than me laugh. Yeah. Well, I don't think I have. Wait, do I have it? Do I have it? Do I have you shooting down planes?
I'm supposed to say he's behind you.
Well, one of you are spawning on me, so
Yeah.
good game. Me? Nope, I'm getting shot now.
Oh, I just got that shell right in that doorway.
Let me climb the pole. I want to be a pole dancer.
God damn it, dude. I don't think we're gonna do this.
We still have 30, so we can still manage.
Yes,
we did it.
win.
We finally got a win.
Yay, they finally got a win. Yay. All right. War Sniper says Sin, or I should hold on. War Sniper says Sin, about that with the bombers, the one in the middle was not the one who made the videos anymore. He is somewhere in the formation now. And you have to hit all the bombers to get that guy. Or stream snipe him. I hope we're talking about the same guy, because there's one guy who makes a lot of those videos, and he just I had to downvote his videos because I would actually watch how he's going through like 3 or 4 games to make the videos, and you just watch his team lose bad, and he would always cut it before he got to that point. And I'm just like, whatever. I don't play those games. That's one of the reasons I don't watch Barrett, who used to be like the #1 guy to watch about MechWarrior Online. And then I actually played a couple games where he was in it. And I noticed he only plays the games where he wins for the longest time. I guess enough of us called him out on it where he stopped doing that. But still, it's enough for me to say fuck off. And yeah, the one I am talking about where he just like made everybody lose, it was actually to the point where it wasn't just me. It was a whole bunch of other folks decided to be like, oh, he's playing. Everybody get in the planes, take this guy out. And they would just like just damage the entire video. Just make it so the guy couldn't make a video. And he's getting all asshole. He was just an asshole. He's getting all pissed at everybody. He's trying to get them all booted from the game because they were trying to take him out. And I mean, they were like kamikazing their planes into the bombers specifically to make the video suck. Which oddly enough made the video better, which was kind of weird. Chris says, by the way, War Sniper, I put your name in the 4th episode. You'll see. And yes, the 4th episode is sitting right there on the printer. Let's see. Lena says, people had always been using Lemming's train tactic when playing the tank game so that everybody loses. Yeah. Just follow the leader right into an ambush. Gotta love it. Demon says, makes me miss a game called Chrome Hounds? Oh, yep. Remember the big controller they had for that? That was the most expensive game ever for the PC because of that controller. It was next to, I think, like $100 for it. Every mech was customizable to do whatever you want, but everyone had a role, and you had 6-man teams. You had to work together, and it was awesome. Missed that game. It was fun. I was still more of a BattleTech guy than I was Chrome Hounds, but yes, it was good. And the fact that you had its own controller with each button and each switch did what it was supposed to do. Oh man, that the immersion on that was just insane. Now I definitely stopped at getting the helmet. I don't know if you ever seen that, but they actually did make a helmet where it had a little eyepiece where it was like the same thing a gunner has on an Apache. Wherever you turn, that's where the cursor would move. But you had to recalibrate that thing every time you sat down. It was crazy. But it worked. And you could just really fuck up someone's day doing that. Erica says, to top it off about China, many girls got abandoned and died from exposure or neglect in the orphanages, or they got adopted out of country. The girls that got adopted in China or survived the orphanages aren't good enough for the little emperor. Yeah, that's true. The way they treat women over there is kind of sad. It's messed up, really. Steve says, I like the Battlemaster or the Mad Cat. I'm definitely not a Battlemaster fan for one simple reason. It's great for the long battle if you are very, very selective on what you use as far as your weapons. You alpha strike once and you're already getting a heat warning. So if you've already built up your heat, you alpha strike once, you're going to shut down. And I just, no. It's a poor design. And we're talking base model, not any alterations from that. As far as it being able to take a bunch of hits, yeah, it's fairly durable. It's just the heat management is dog shit. As far as the Mad Cat goes, that is bracketed for every range. And that's why I like it. It is basically, you put the Mad Cat and the Highlander next to each other, and you're talking about folks that'll tear each other apart as range, and it just gets worse the closer you get. The only difference, or the only thing that gives the Highlander the advantage, is that damn Gauss rifle. That thing tags you and ouch. That's what is it? Half the speed of sound going right at your face. Let's see. Guard says, TBH, a game I already missed playing and really wish I could get was a remake or remaster would be 100% Need for Speed Pro Street. I remember playing those a couple times. They were actually pretty good. The thing is, the only time I played it was with a control. You need a steering wheel for that thing. Just to give you that little bit of extra control. You need it. But yeah, it looked really good. Excuse me. That come out. Demon says, yeah, Chris, can't wait to see what type of demon lord you've made me. Yes, that actually hurts. Steve, don't worry about the politics. You're edging on the politics, and I already kind of kicked that right in the nuts. So we're just not trying to stay there. We can dabble a little, but we don't want to stay there. Lena says, well, almost all German tanks has cat names, and they all have a skirt, so the tank is a cat girl. See, I can't argue with the logic here, so I'm not going to try. Okay, Guardian says, have to be up extra early tomorrow for work. Good night, all. Good night, Sage. And we've been going for over 2 hours here. Lena says, I believe the Chinese have a 40mm grenade sniper rifle. Yeah, so do we. Actually, they copied our design. Again, if you watch the Chubby Sparky, also known as the Fat Electrician, about what just weird weapons, that's one that came out. It's literally a Barrett's 50 caliber sniper's rifle, and they have it adaptable to actually fire 40 mic grenades out of it. I just think, well, there's no such really truly thing as overkill, so why not? Anyway, Demon says, yes, they do. Just for the fear factor, they can actually use them. Chris also says, Demon, you are the worst type of demon lord, a TV producer. No spoilers, but you've already met your own character. Saying basically they made them because America has full auto launchers. Yep. Well, the thing is, we don't like using the Mark 19 because the only lubricant you can use, we affectionately call whale jizz. And it's an extremely strong carcinogen. You don't ever want to touch that with your skin. And once it starts heating up, you don't want to breathe it in. But guess what happens when you're firing the thing? Choke, 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 choke. It's just, yeah. No. And it's getting up everywhere. It's terrible. I mean, it works. The damn thing works. It's just they got to find something better for a lubricant than that stuff. Demon says, I get up at 4 a.m. for work now while training, so I feel that, Guardian. Yeah, I get up around 4:30 in the morning so I can get to the gym early. He continues with, I don't know. They had a helmet. I want it. Oh, yeah. It only came out for like 3 months. It was such a big flop because everybody was complaining about headaches because when they put the thing down in front of your eyes, it was too close. They had to have it farther out. It should have been sticking out like maybe 6-8 inches. They had it only 2 inches from your eye, and it was just so much eye strain. Demon also says, I'm an Alpha Strike player. Haha. I'm sure you are. You know, before we mess anything, I don't know. Did I play this one? And I did that one, that one, that one. I'm looking, making sure we actually covered everything. Okay, gonna keep going here. Ooh. See. Demon says, up close and personal from the shadows. Alpha Strike, surprise, motherfucker. That whole surprise, motherfucker. I honestly, even in the comics, that character, that Cage character, there's something about him that just makes me want to hurt him. I don't know what it is. It's just, maybe it's the arrogance of the character. He thinks because he's got bulletproof skin that he can just go up and be an asshole to everybody. I mean, hell, he doesn't even treat his child right. He doesn't even treat his baby mama right. Well, after a while, I should say, at first they went along okay. Let's see. Lena says, the dating culture in China is probably changed too. It's changed a lot. It's gone very... I don't want to say red pill, but I don't have any other way to put it. There's a lot of guys like, yeah, I have enough money to live for, I don't have to work for the rest of my life. Do I want a wife and kids? Hell no. I'm like, well, that's you. Virgil says, hello, Sin. How's life for you? Life is okay. Plenty of complaints, but I'm not going to say which ones they are. I appreciate it. It says, Guards here says, I got super lucky and found the entire Need for Speed Pro Street song playlist. I have like half of download on my YouTube music, and I'm going to say they are really cooked for some of those songs. Okay. Steve says, yep, my last day on vacation, back to work tomorrow for me. I had fun chatting last couple weeks. Don't know when I'll be back. Well, whenever you can, man. I mean, life is life. I can't say too much. Everybody saying nut to the stage here. And Lena says, you are Hell's Kitchen, demon chef. There you go. Chris was, retirement is rough. Personally, don't wake up until the crack of noon. It's so rough. Well, I'm retired too, and guess what I'm doing? Still waking up at 4:30 to get to the gym so I have the rest of the day to work and do all the other stuff. So the key thing is keeping busy so you don't get too bored. You know, every man's got to have a hobby, right? Steve says, yep, You had to really reconfigure that Battle Master to Alpha Strike or play target for 45 seconds while Catapult smokes your ass. Yeah. The thing is, there's everything on a Battle Master is direct fire, except for like what, an LRM 5. I mean, it's just no. It literally is an up close and personal. If say they were for real and I had to be in a Battle Master, I would be fairly close, at a distance, shooting that one large laser PPC out, trying to get him in close, let him come in, Alpha Strike their ass, and while they're saying, ow, that hurt, just come up and just do a little mech foo right in their face. Because by then, that's the only thing you can do. Even when I used to play the Battletech game, the online one here, or the digital one there that they came out with a few years ago, I stripped a lot of the weapons off the Battle Master. And even then, if I couldn't do that, again, I got it. I just basically ran it in close, fired an Alpha Strike, and just friggin' punched somebody right in the dick. Okay, Lena says, I suppose Chinese women had an expensive dating culture. Yes, yeah, that's what I'm getting from there. And it's getting worse. It's just, I don't get as much. Trust me, if you want to see what's going on over there, just watch the China Uncensored show, and they'll lay you in on that. I used to watch them a lot, but I just couldn't anymore. Let's see. Demon says, my current route to wake up is at 4 a.m., go to bed at 8 p.m. When switch into nights, it'll invert from 4 p.m. to 8 a.m. Yeah. Like I said, just that first day, just stay awake until, you have to go to sleep, and they'll reset your internal clock. Works really well. Can't say works like a charm, because that first day you're still adjusting. You're going to feel weird, like you're drunk, but you're not actually drunk. Chris says, I joke, but I'm still up and out the door by 6 a.m. I've never been this busy in my life. Well, as soon as people realize you got free time, they're going to start asking you for shit. I'm a walking, talking example of that. All right. Demon says, Western feminism made its way into China, and the government tried desperately to get rid of it. Hold on. But that made it worse. Yes, it did. It did. Well, not what's on screen. That's pretty good. But anyways. That's the ends of the comment sections here. You're going to throw the banner up here because we actually did burn through all the videos we had. And just a reminder, don't forget to make sure that you are still subscribed and hit the like button. I very much appreciate it before you guys leave. And I think we got a few folks, down not saying nothing. They've been, just listening in, and I appreciate everybody being here. And a special extra shout out to all the subscribers from this week that have decided to super chat. That's Prozac and Pancakes, Douglas Scarborough, Brian Kemp, MTF Guard, Erica Gem, Guardian Sage, SS Demon, Steve Uwig, and Joseph Blosh. Thank you all so much. Before you go, don't forget, we have our safety brief. And work with me, guys, say it. If you drink, you don't drive. If you drive, you don't drink. If your buddy wants to drink and drive, beat his ass. It's better to explain to his wife or his girlfriend why you broke his nose than explain to the wife why he just broke his neck. Also, if your little soldier is going in the bush, make sure he wears his poncho. It gets wet in the bush, at least if you know what you're doing. Aside from that, easy on the smoking and the drinking, guys. That just ages you fast. And if you're going to have anything stronger than that and you're not sharing with me, you're doing something wrong. So anyways, all right. That's going to be it. Again, I see everybody saying good night, and that's going to be it. You guys have been fucking awesome. You guys always are. And I will see you next time on Syntext Live.